One? Okay.
What is going on, fellas? This is either going to be a 20-point victory for the Kansas City Chiefs or an upset special. There is absolutely no in between. I'm nervous. We suck in prime time. The Kansas City Chiefs take care of business in prime time. I wish this game was buried in the 1 p.m. window, if I'm being 100% honest with you.
On the bright side, let's hope it is Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce day. Why don't we?
Hey, we need Travis Kelce, 25 fantasy points would be beautiful if I could beat Zach in the Flock League. Or Travis Kelce, 0 fantasy points so that I could win my home league matchup.
Hey, I'll take either or. I mean, whether it's Worthy going off and Bucky Irving doing absolutely nothing, or both going off and Xavier Worthy just not getting outscored by 11 points. That's basically what I need right now. I believe I'm up 10.7. I have Worthy to his Bucky Irving. So it says I have an 89% win equity, according to Sleeper, which I never trust because it always ends up when you see a high win probability, you end up losing. So first thing I did was screenshot the win probability. So that way, either way, I have content. If I win, I can make clips about how I won. If I lose, I can make clips about how I had 89% win equity and somehow find a way to fucking lose.
It almost makes me feel better knowing that I have like a 15% chance to win as opposed to like an 85% chance to win. I'm the underdog. Yeah. I'm counted out right now. Like it almost feels like, better that way.
You almost write off the week as a loss. So if a win would be a bonus, but when you're in the reverse, it's like you count it as a win. So when
you count it as a win in your head already. Yeah. It's a shitty feeling when you lose those ones. But we do have a Flock site question here. Of course, if you guys do want to skip the line, the link is down below in the description for that. Oops, it's just one of us showing here. There we go.
We usually run this one, right?
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Interesting deal. Now, with that being said, very clear winner in my opinion, but interesting deal.
Just give me 1 second. I'm just dropping the link in the chat so people can get to the site. There we go. Link is dropped in the chat. Okay, taking a look at this trade. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., Cedric Tillman, Ladd McConkey, Tyrone Tracy, Romo Dunze, Mike Evans.
It's very clearly the left side. But with that being said, if you can take off Brian Thomas Jr. and Mike Evans on this deal, Tillman and McConkey for Tracy and Dunze, I think that's about fair.
Yeah, I think I'd lean with Thomas side of things. And I mean, potential spoiler alert for Wednesday's trade targets video. I think Thomas Jr. is definitely somebody that could be potentially featured in that video, just given what we've seen from him so far this year and the fact that he's playing through the injury and the late season upside that I think he provides you if you're in a winning position.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. I mean, I've always been the more vocal like Brian Thomas guy, but like even still, like across fantasy leagues, if he's valued right now as like a low end wide receiver too, because he's dealing with the injury and because he had a bad game, I'm telling you right now, the guy's got legitimate top 12 to 15 upside rest away when he is fully healthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm actually curious right now. I want to check his schedule, what it looks like rest of the season.
Let me take a look too. I mean, actually, you're looking right now, so
I got it pulled up right here.
I mean, like, yeah, Garrett Wilson, I have 11. Puka, I have at 12. Curious how you would handle. So, obviously, with CeeDee Lamb dealing with the AC joint sprain, I ended up putting him at 8 because London is also dealing with his own injury. So, it felt like that was a good spot for both of them. But I think you can make the argument there, like Nakua, Wilson, Cooper Kupp. Like, if you need wins right now, you would take them over those two, right?
I don't actually tend to think London's going to miss any time. So I didn't really adjust London at all. But with Lamb, I think that's probably fair. And Lamb might not miss any time either. Like,
well, that's why I can't drop him further than 8.
That's why I do have him 8 and 9 because they're currently banged up. But I wouldn't actually probably take Kupp or Nakua or whoever else you'd have behind them over them, just because the injuries don't sound serious at all.
Yeah,
but
like
obviously Dak is hurt, so that hurts Lamb. So maybe you can make the argument there.
Like there's context necessary. Like, for example, like we didn't really like the value of the deal that Sal made, but knowing the context of him being 3-6 and literally needing wins in both DK were out and Najee Harris was on bye, like context matters in fantasy, man. So like, while you have to make a deal because you're in a situation where you need to win now, like sometimes it's not going to look the prettiest, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to keep your season afloat, like, it's not about looking pretty. It's about getting wins, right?
Yeah, it's redraft, not dynasty too. It's like if if you're one loss away from being eliminated from playoff contention, you should do whatever it takes to win that one game and just hope that you can figure it out after that. Like, that's literally all you can do in redraft, because there's no, like, obviously maybe you want to avoid a loser punishment or whatever, but regardless, you're not really in a situation where it matters if you lose one of the best players in search of a win this week, for example.
Do anything you can to win. So I agree. But Jason, yes, the way we would counter this is if you could take Evans and Brian Thomas off of this deal, I'd be more willing to do something like that.
Yeah,
as currently constructed,
let's see if we can, like, can you get, what if you put Harrison in for Evans? Does it get any closer?
Absolutely. Yeah. It gets a lot closer.
Like, if you got Harrison in this deal instead of Mike Evans.
Yeah, like if you're going to do something like that, I think that's one thing
or Wilson too, potentially.
I think you have to X Mike Evans off first, because I think you can only put 3 parts in the side.
Yeah, for some reason it's not working for me, but
regardless, though, I mean, Jason, you're hearing us talk through this. If you can make this deal without the Evans and Brian Thomas Jr. swap, I'd be willing to. It's just for me, with Mike Evans, I mean, the hamstring does not sound good at all. You guys have a bye coming up. I'm assuming you're going to hold him out through the bye. And even still, it's like Evans has shown this a couple years where, like, if he comes back a little too early, like, that shit is prone to re-firing up on him, right?
When has he shown that?
No, I'm just saying, like, it feels like he's always dealing with lower body injuries, like,
yeah, I mean,
issues,
for what it's worth, he's never misses time for it. Typically, this is the first time.
But like sometimes he plays through it, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
there's a difference.
Like
a couple times against the Saints,
he's back on the field. Week 12, I guess it would be. I think after our bye, because we play the 49ers next week, and then we have the bye in week 11. So,
and maybe it's the Cooper Kupp effect, where it's like with these older wide receivers, lower body issues, like, I'm always a little bit more wary about it. But I think that's kind of what I'm feeling. Like Evans, I didn't know where to put in my rest of season rankings because of that.
Yeah, I think he's a hard one to stack up for sure. But yeah, we do have that being the winner. And again, if you guys do have questions that you submit through here, you'll obviously skip the line, but we will go through. It's Monday streams are pretty chill for us, so it's usually. We can get through some comments and stuff. Jonathan was the first one in here. He said, I need Chiefs defense to outscore Chase McLaughlin by 1.5 points. How do defenses normally produce against your team, Bush? Well, Baker is going to throw an interception or two, most likely. That's what he's done most of the year. Unless he's just absolutely unbelievably dialed. There's a good chance that he throws a pick or something. Danny looks like he's looking for a mouse or something right now. I'm going to just mute him just in case he's going on doing some shit here. But yeah, I think with Mayfield, you got to expect that he's probably going to throw an interception. The fumbles have been a little bit of an issue for our running backs as well. So the Chiefs defense definitely could have some forced fumbles or whatever the case is. And the sack part of the defensive scoring probably won't be too much of an issue. I mean, our offensive line's been pretty solid. I'm sorry, Danny's fucking distracting me, so I need to put him in the back seat right now. Yeah, the sacks have been a bit of a no-go for the Bucs offensive line. They've been able to keep Baker pretty clean, but the defense in general. What the hell did you drop? Okay, well, you must have knocked your mic out. Oh, actually, I muted you. Never mind.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
So when I went to go fiddle with my pocket because my AirPods were in there, they freaking fell right in my pocket, right under the trash can. So I went to chase them.
Yeah.
No, I'm chilling. I was just. I was just praying they didn't fall because I have a little vent there. I was praying they didn't fall. So yeah.
True. But yeah, I think the Chiefs defense can outscore McLaughlin tonight. Again, as much as I think, like, if I were betting this game, I think the Bucs will cover 9 points. Like, I think the spread's a little too high. But at the same time, we've seen this trend with Tampa Bay when they've played good teams that are a little above their weight class right now. Especially, you don't even have McMillan, let alone your top 2 receivers tonight.
What this feels like a 27
nice start
game
where they look like they're good. They'll go up like 10-3 at the end of the first quarter or something, and then they'll just get boat race 31-10 the rest of the game. Like I could see the game going that way as well.
Well, if I had to give an official score prediction, the one I'm leaning with is 27-17 Chiefs. That's where I'm at. So
that's a cover for Kansas City. I could see this honestly too, just being like a bit of a slugfest, and it's like a 17-14 game or something like that.
I wouldn't mind that.
I would. And I mean, if Kelsey catches 13 passes for 110 yards and a touchdown, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean the touchdown cherry on top, eh?
Yeah, I think 13 catches for 130 yards would actually get me there.
That's why.
Without
That's why I said cherry on top.
yeah, well,
As well. I mean,
Oh, I need
why
picks.
stress?
Okay, yes, I shall throw my picks in here.
Yeah,
So
and
that you have those.
and I
I think you
got
just
mine.
dropped yours recently.
Yes, I ended up putting mine up, I believe, like 6:15 or so on the channel. So you guys would have saw that, but I mean, I'll throw it up on the screen as well, and we'll kind of talk through
Yeah.
both of our
So
picks.
I got my picks here. So I will say I was making these picks with the assumption that there might be a little bit more weather concerns than there may end up being. It looks like there's going to be some weather concerns sporadically throughout the game, but for the most part, I think it's cleared up enough that it's not going to be a major factor. And like you might have a little bit of wet ball drives here and there, but I think it's probably going to be mostly clear based on the weather forecast I've seen. But regardless, I think the Bucs will need to rely on their running game, whether the weather is clear or not. So I like Rachaad White to go over 7.5 rushing attempts. I like Bucky Irving to go higher than 52.5 rushing plus receiving yards. He's actually done this in every single game this year, -1. And Patrick Mahomes higher than 4.5 rushing attempts. I do not believe that's available anymore. I think it's gone up to 5.5 since I did it this morning. I probably would not take it at 5.5, but if you also are a new customer on Underdog, you could just nix that pick of the entry and throw the Patrick Mahomes free square in anyways, and then tail the two running back part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'll just show mine as well. My slip here. Rachaad White higher than 23.5 receiving yards in his last 2 games played. Over 100 receiving yards and 12 targets in your Tampa Bay offense. Obviously, Godwin and Evans both out for this game yet again. You're gonna have to funnel some targets. McMillan as well. You're gonna have to funnel some targets through the backfield. And Rachaad White, despite losing some work on the ground, has been still your team's key main receiving back. Maybe my favorite pick of the year, again, like knock on wood, because I do have him in the Flock League, but like I swear that is actually not why I love Xavier Worthy this week. The matchup's pristine. Tampa Bay right now 28th against opposing wide receivers, so a top 5 matchup for Worthy. They are also a pass funnel defense. With Vita Vea on the field, you guys actually are good against the run. Without him, that's when you've seen kind of the struggles this year. And in terms of Xavier Worthy, taking the fantasy points, you can get there in multiple ways. Obviously, if he uncovers for a big play, maybe you get there on the yards, or we've seen him involved, for example, in terms of, end arounds around the goal line. Maybe he gets a touchdown in there to supplement the fantasy points. So I like taking the fantasy points because you have multiple paths to get in there. And the Kareem Hunt lower than 34.5 rushing yards in the first half. Like I said, you guys have been good against the run when Vita Vea is on the field. Kareem Hunt's efficiency in each of the last 3 games has dropped off from the first game he played against the Chargers. Last week, it plateaued down to 2.81 yards per carry. So like I said, I think it's going to be a very inefficient outing for Kareem Hunt. I already think it's going to be a pass funnel game plan for Mahomes and co, because you guys struggle against the pass comparatively to the run. And like I said, Kareem Hunt, declining efficiency, like realistically, in order to get to 34.5, you're going to probably need from Kareem Hunt at least 10 carries in the first half, which I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So here's my take on Kareem Hunt in this game. Because I think it's pretty natural to just be like, oh, Bucs pass funnel, Kareem Hunt maybe not going to have a great game. We can't tackle right now at all. Okay. Like we can't tackle. And it's the line, it's the linebackers, especially the linebackers been a huge problem. It's been the safeties outside of 31. Nobody can tackle out there. The corners have been missing tackles without, it's so underrated. Part of Todd Bowles' defense, why we were so good against the run, is because we have 33 and 31 at safety, who are both insanely good tacklers normally. Whitehead has not been a good tackler lately. Yeah. Tyke Smith, who was out last week with a concussion, I think he's coming back. I'd actually have to double check on that. He's our nickel, or like our kind of honey badger role, and he's a great tackler. And then when Jamel Dean is out there, he's a big ass corner. So he's also a very good tackler. And, Funderburk or whoever's been filling in for him is not. But McCollum's, able to get up there and tackle. The problem has been the back end tackling, and Kareem Hunt might get there just breaking through the defensive line. One play, he could get there on like a 30-yard run. It wouldn't shock me if he does, if he is the one that screws you on that one for sure.
Yeah, it feels like I always get one on Monday Night Football that screws me, and that was the one I felt least confident in. Now, I will say with Kareem Hunt, the reason why I took his first half rushing yards instead of his game rushing yards were listed at 62, and his first half was actually listed at 34.5. So, I mean, if you're doing the math there, obviously he's going to need to account for over 50% of his yardage line in the first half based off the first yard line that's set. A and B, like it's we've seen the Chiefs have like these weird slow starts and then they start getting in the groove late in the game. And like you said earlier in the stream, you could see it there being the case where going into the second half, it's a 13-7, 13-10 Buccaneers type of lead. And if that's the case, again, like the Chiefs slow starts, maybe they gear on towards the second half of the game, maybe Kareem Hunt starts setting in. That's why I took the first half instead of the overall game line. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's natural that we might just be tired and, you can wear us down in the second half.
Yeah.
So the overall rushing yards, that could be how Hunt gets there, is that they're just, salting the game away or whatever. And it does appear that Tyke Smith is back, which is fucking huge for us. These two quarterbacks, by the way, if you guys are looking for prop bets, either of them to throw an interception seems like a good idea because Mahomes has 9 interceptions.
Underdog would not post one on Baker. I tried.
Yeah. Baker has 9 interceptions this year. Mahomes has 9 interceptions this year. I think, honestly, like a half-dees, if you wanted to get real crazy with it, each of them to throw an interception would also not be the worst thing in the world, especially if there's a wet football out here that they're trying to throw around. I think it's an interesting way to approach this game. So let me just I just painted the kind of like bad picture for Tampa Bay, how we like lose this game. Like we can't tackle right now. Our defense is playing poorly. The one thing I will say in favor of the Buccaneers is our defense is capable of playing really, really good football because there is a lot of talented players on our defense. It's just they're playing like all as individuals right now and not as a team unit. And our defense is really well coached typically with Todd Bowles. Sometimes he has really good game plans, particularly. I've noticed this with Bowles too. Depending on the team he's going up against, the offensive scheme on the other side, he plays better against certain offenses than others. And the Rams, like Sean McVay, obviously Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson last week, he doesn't perform well against those schemes, but he has historically performed decent against Kansas City. Of course, in the Super Bowl, we just wiped the floor with them on defense. So
and then
I think the defense, playing above their weight class. The problem has been pressure. It's been the problem the entire season. Yaya Diaby's not getting pressure with 4. Our opposite edge, whether it's Shoyanka or Braswell's not getting home. Cansey has been kind of a disappointment this year. Vea's our leading sacker, and Vea's our nose tackle. That's a huge fucking problem.
Yeah, especially
as great as Vea is, he should not be leading the team in sacks.
So him and Dex are the only two noses that are leading their team in sacks right now.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but this is the one area where we miss 45 because 45, at least you send him screaming up the middle, he's fucking getting home. Like he at least when you're not getting pressure, you can send 45 up the middle. And Devin White not being on this team has been a bit of a problem because KJ Britt is just pretty awful at everything. So they're going to have to get exotic with this one. They're going to have to throw Tyke Smith up the middle and, Winfield up on blitzes and shit because we can't get pressure with 4 at all.
Can't lie. Don't even remember when Devin White went to the Texans. Don't even remember.
Yeah, well, so he went to the Eagles in the offseason. The Eagles never activated him for a game. And then he was waived by the Eagles. And then he was claimed by the Texans, I think, a few days after that. And Bucs Twitter was a buzz because they were like, oh my God, KJ Britt is so bad. Could we bring back Devin White? I was like, I don't think he wants to come back. I don't think the front office wants him here either. So I think that relationship was kind of severed at the time. But one thing is very clear to me: easily our biggest need in the NFL draft and in free agency this year is inside linebacker. It is not even close. Our biggest need.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So we'll get to some of the comments here. You already went through that. Yeah, Trey Palmer or Sterling Shepard tonight in PPR with Jalen McMillan out. I know Shepard has been dealing with his own injury, I believe the hamstring. But if McMillan's out, man, like Shepard's in, I'm going Shepard.
Yeah, Shepard is probably the more so. As wild as it might sound, I actually think another sneaky prop bet, if you guys can find a pick'em total on him or whatever, is I think Raheem Jarrett might have a couple catches in this game for sure. I really think he's going to be heavily involved in the game plan. He looked really good last week.
Maryland, right?
Yeah, he looked really good last week too. He led the team in receiving.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. He looked really good. I would if you want a speculative pickup before the game, he might end up being a waiver ad. Can't imagine he'll be like a great one, even if he does have a good game in this one. But he looked good enough to me that it perked my ears up for sure. Like I'm trying to see, does he even have he's not even listed on where I'm looking right now. Let me check if Underdog has a pick him for him right now.
Bush, just for that shout, I'll drop AD Mitchell for him in the Flock League.
There you go. Yeah, I don't think Underdog has him listed anywhere. Oh yeah, they do. Underdog has him for 17.5 receiving yards, longest reception of 12.5, 18.5 rushing plus receiving. I actually like that better because I think you can, he's the type of guy that you can hand like jet sweeps and stuff too. So Raheem Jarrett, 18.5 rushing plus receiving. I don't mind that at all. And we can actually, we got not a whole lot to do. I'll just share screen and we can go through some of the other ones that we like since we were talking underdog picks there for a second.
Yeah, I mean, actually, wait, which other league did I end up with him? AD. Sorry, I'm talking to myself now. Continue.
Okay, so Raheem Jarrett. So Spicy isn't here right now. If you want to send Spicy the link, maybe he can get this last minute entry in for us. But I wouldn't mind building one out here if you're down.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
People want it. So let's take Raheem Jarrett because I actually really like him. This week, Sean Tucker with 5.5 rushing yards also seems like free money to me.
Yeah, because even if it's a 3-man committee, that Bucky Irving's still doing with the toe, and that
Tucker's going to carry the ball 3 or 4 times at least.
Yeah, I like that call. Also, 3 hours ago in my home league, Raheem Jarrett was picked up. I guess Steve is on to something, eh?
Steve is on to something. Justin Watson, revenge game, question mark? No, I'm just kidding.
Completely forgot that Casey had him, and you guys used to.
Yeah, so we need something on the Chiefs side of things because you got Tucker and Raheem Jarrett there. Who's the guy that goes off tonight for the
goes
Chiefs?
off?
Yeah,
Worthy to me.
I don't love Worthy this week just because of the weather potentially.
Didn't you just say that it's not as bad as you initially thought?
It is, but like the one guy that it affects is Worthy.
No, I think that's fair, but also his fantasy points since I recorded that short has gone up 0.6. I just noticed.
Yeah, we got Spicy in the back seat here. Spicy, if you want to help us build this one out, if you want to scroll down to find Raheem Jarrett,
what's Auden's
and
line?
Sean Tucker.
What's Auden's line?
What's up?
You passed Auden. Oh no, you didn't. My bad. Sorry. No, you're good. You're good. I had a brain fart.
It's at the bottom.
I mean, hear me out. What's the anytime touchdown?
For who?
First touchdown score. For Auden. 1.58 anytime touchdown.
Seems like a trap to me.
You think it's a trap?
I do.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. So Tucker 5.5 rushing yards. If you scroll up a little bit, and Raheem Jarrett 18.5 rushing plus receiving. I like that as well. 1.5 receptions actually is even better.
Let's make a yucky one. How about that? Let's make a yucky because the one that's eyeing my eye right now. Go up one little thing, Spicy, after you take the Tucker. I was gonna say Samaje Perine receiving
touchdown or receiving yards.
No, receiving yards 7.5.
What's his usage been looking like lately?
It hasn't been that great overall, but he's gotten receiving usage, and Kareem Hunt's kind of been run into the ground these last few weeks, is my rationale.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. I mean, Perine's run 34%, 28%, 38% of the routes the last 3 games. He's only got, he's not getting really any targets is the problem. He's only got 2 targets, 1 target, and 2 targets the last couple of weeks.
No, that's fair. I mean, 2-minute drills, especially when he's going to be on the field. And I just think you catch one pass, 7.5 yards, you can get it.
Yeah. Let's roll with it. Let's make a yucky one here.
Yeah. I mean, if we have Sean Tucker and Raheem Jarrett, let's go full yuck. Let's embrace the yuck.
Let's do a 3 stack of yuck right here. So Sean Tucker, Raheem Jarrett, and okay. Do you like? I think I like receptions better, to be honest.
What's it at? 1.5 or 2.5?
Yeah, and you get a little juice on it too. I think I like the receptions better.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
He's gonna start. I'm telling you guys right now, he's gonna start tonight.
Yeah, I dig that. People are probably thinking, "What the hell kind of parlay are you making? What the hell kind of pick'em are you making?"
It's gross. Spicy, can you just really quick? Can you just go to NBA? I just want to see if there's any.
Oh, dude, good luck.
If there's any, sometimes there's a free square. That's why I'm saying go to NBA.
No, I'm trolling. Spicy's going like this in the back because I had a pick 'em miss because Wemby went under his or lower than his points.
Yeah. So for what it's worth, there's not a free square, but if you guys are NBA fans, you see the profit boost tokens, gimme picks, change any NBA pick to 0. You got a token for that.
Yeah, use that. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's apply that.
Use it on the Lakers game. Fuck it. Is that even? Wait, it might have started actually. Hold up.
Any NBA pick to 0 is a gimme pick. Yeah, just throw this into the entry. It makes it a 10x.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bring me in. Okay, what are you saying?
Also, I tried using that on my personal account. It's NBA only.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to explain. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Also, the Lakers are losing right now.
Hey, hear me out here. Is this not free right here? Baker gets 13 free passing yards on top of beating Mahomes.
I've never been one to mess with the rivals personally.
With the rivals?
Yeah, same.
Oh, I didn't mean to do
that.
I can't click his name. But just look at like Baker's passing yards versus Patrick Mahomes. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely onto something there.
Yeah, I took that on my personal account, but just saying.
All I'll say though about Baker versus Mahomes on passing yards, like if there's one thing we hand out for free, like it's Halloween, it's passing yards to quarterbacks. So
yeah,
like
I just don't think they'll pass. Like
I will bet anybody anything that this is Patrick Mahomes' highest yardage output of the season tonight.
Oh god damn it. Maybe.
I don't blame you on that bet.
Am I putting 10 on this?
Yeah, I think these three for a 10 bone seems like a good idea.
Damn,
we're getting gross with these.
Sorry, I got to mention this too. The week I trust Bilal Coulibaly in fantasy basketball against the Warriors tonight, he's just having a chunker of a game. Great.
Yeah, I think I could have gone my whole life without that information, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I appreciated it, Danny.
Not a big game. Yeah, I appreciate that. There you go.
I don't even know who that is. So
Bilal Coulibaly. He's a wing for the Washington Wizards.
See, I didn't even know that was a team.
They're not a very good one.
Yeah.
Hey boys, JK and Waddle for James Cook. Thoughts on Chase Brown rest of the season. So first and foremost, JK and Jaylen Waddle. Like, give me JK and Jaylen Waddle over James Cook very comfortably here. I like James Cook, but at the same time, I view him and JK very similarly in terms of like
Waddle's worth what?
Yeah, I mean Waddle's just a free roll at this point, I guess.
Is Waddle is he a red herring in this trade that you're just going to start every week and have no fantasy points as a result of it?
Where do you have him ranked rest of the season? Like I have him 27.
He's in the 30s for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I still have him over like Olave with the injury. Higgins, I don't really know what to do with right now. Dell, like I don't know.
Dell is very comfortably over Waddle. Very
Nico's back. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'll make that capitulation. Diggs is out, so I moved that.
I don't even think that's close, to be honest.
Where do you have Dell ranked? He's 27.
I have Dell at like 23, and I have Waddle in like the mid 30s.
Like I have Dell ranked. I mean, you probably have him ahead of what McConkey, JSN, and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that's fair. I will make an adjustment at least over JSN. I'll take McConkey though because I like how the Chargers' offense is looking.
Yeah. Cody says, are we worried about Kyler and Marv long-term at all? I mean, Kyler's got a pretty brutal schedule. This was that was a really bad matchup, man. Like Kyler and versus the Bears. The Bears have been really good on defense, especially against the pass. And Marvin, I mean, he did not look good in that game, but I think we should kind of know by now that Marvin looks like a rookie receiver, even though Neighbors and Thomas don't look like rookie receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr. has obviously got a bigger learning curve for whatever reason. He's getting more attention. He's playing X receiver. He's not getting moved around like these other guys are getting moved around. So you kind of have to live with the bad to get the good with Marvin Harrison Jr. But this, again, having a bad game against a really shit matchup shouldn't really scare you off of either of these two guys, in my opinion. Kyler's, he's obviously not going to have like a QB1 overall type of season this year, but he's still one of the better, mid QB1s that you're going to find, in my opinion.
Yeah. I need A from McLaughlin. Yeah, good luck with that, brother. Yeah, that's probably a throw.
We don't really like to settle for field goals. We like to settle for turnovers or touchdowns.
It's trading for Breece Hall for Bijan and Kyron good. I would actually argue trading him for Kyron straight up, in my opinion, would be actively bad. Again, I'm always going to get hate. I guess I
don't think it's actively bad. These guys are.
I'm not trading
RB3, RB4, and RB5 in my rankings rest of the season. I would take any which one, whatever guy you like more, sure. To me, Bijan is probably if you're
I have a good preference
over
Jets
and the Breece Hall experience and you wanted to trade it for Bijan, it's a better offense. I don't blame you, but I would
actually
rather have Breece.
So I actually have Bijan 2 over Breece at 3. It's just
you do?
I have Kyron a little bit lower.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm getting very micro differences. I'll eat my crow like on Kyron on the year, but like I still view him as like more of the back end of like the Walker, the Gibbs. Like I would still take like Henry and Mixon over him. Achan I ranked over him, and then I mean my thoughts on Mixon, right? So
yeah. 12-man PPR, one quarterback dynasty. I have Bucky. I was offered JMO in a second.
Yeah.
Is that solid? Yeah. I mean, I think JMO versus Bucky is probably like slightly the JMO side of that, like, to be honest, and getting a free second rounder seems pretty good.
Yeah, we take those.
Tight end premium. Do I start Noah Gray or Sterling Shepard? You got to start Shep, I think, still.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, Noah Gray will probably catch like fucking 6 passes because we can't defend any tight end. And of course, I'll just be watching Noah Gray catch all of Kelsey's passes tonight. But yeah, Shepard is probably the better option there.
Also, real quick, did you see? Yeah, that was when I was finding my AirPods.
Yeah.
Did you see? For a quarterback's first 4 starts, Drake May has the 6th most all time, ahead of Anthony Richardson, ahead of Deshaun Watson, ahead of Cam Newton.
The 6th most what all time? Because that's a horrible list.
Rushing yards in their first 4 games.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, Deshaun Watson was great as a rookie. What am I talking about?
And Anthony Richardson and Cam Newton.
Like, yeah, I mean, Anthony Richardson rushing the ball is all he can do. So that doesn't shock me.
No, he's ahead of them.
Yeah, no, I know. But like Richardson being on that list, you were like ahead of Anthony Richardson. Like it was like an accomplishment. I'm like, okay.
As a rusher?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
What?
Whatever.
Sixth most in a first 4 starts for rushing all since.
Well, Richardson didn't finish 2 of his first 4 games.
So. Fair. I mean, still Watson though. Like regardless, though, he only has like 21 less rushing yards in his first 4 games than like Jaden Daniels. Like people really downplayed how damn athletic that kid is, man.
Yeah. Thoughts on Nick Chubb? I gave my thoughts on the Monday recap thing earlier today, where I'm a little worried that Jerome Ford played as much snaps as he did, and I think Chubb, obviously to be expected, doesn't look quite like Nick Chubb of old. I think he's a half decent buy low as a mid RB3 price tag, but there's a chance that your league mates won't value him that way because his name's Nick Chubb.
Yeah, no, I agree with my thoughts.
I need Baker under 23 points and a 4-point per passing touchdown. I mean, Baker's been a human fantasy football god for the last couple of weeks so far.
No receivers?
No receivers. I think you're good. But the problem with Baker is that like he could scoot, man. He might run in some touchdowns for you.
So probably very much less likely than that. So for the record, this is a team that I actually co-own with Flet. We scored 183 this week, which is currently the most of the entire slate. The only problem is our opponent is currently projected for 190 because he has Baker Mayfield going tonight. So we're going to need an all-time stinker for Baker. We're talking like an 11-point or less fantasy day, which very unlikely.
You need 175 yards, 0 passing touchdown, 2 interception type game from Baker Mayfield. And so I'm not going to get ahead of my skis the way I did against the Baltimore Ravens game that happened on Monday night, like 2 weeks ago or whatever. But again, if our defense shows up, we have a chance to win this game. If our defense plays well, which they're capable of, but it is a very, very tall task. I think that I'm going to temper my expectations on. I'd be happy if the Bucs cover tonight.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to say you're going to win the game. That's why I was like,
no, I think it's possible we win. I don't think it's an unwinnable game.
I'd give you like a 20% win equity here.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. That's fair. That's probably about what the going rate is right now. Like Chiefs are what -500.
Yeah, given 9-point favorites, you're probably less than 20% to be honest. Need 10 points, PPR, Worthy or Hop.
I think you need 10 points, Hopkins. If you
PPR,
need a blow,
it's got to be Hopkins, man.
Yeah. Like for the record, like I think both are going to have good games. Like, but if you need a floor, like Hopkins has the juju role in hand, but I'm just very bullish on Worthy this week. The only problem is his range of outcomes is literally the floor or winning people matchups. That's where it is. He's going to either have 33 points or he's going to have 3.
I tend to think that one of, if not both of these guys might just be a trap in this game because everybody sees the Buccaneers matchup. They're going to throw them out there. And I'm worried that neither of them get there because Worthy, it's a somewhat conditions game. He can't catch the long ball. DeAndre Hopkins still plays like a 50% snap share or something like that. I worry that neither of these guys get there. Maybe I'm copiuming and I just want Kelsey to get all the points, but I don't know. I could see none of the receivers.
Maybe you're reverse psychology because you don't want Patrick Mahomes to score like 30 fantasy.
I will be so fucking mad if Mahomes has like a 30-point day. And the one game I sit him this whole year, I played him every single week and he's been bad every single game. If he has a 30-point fantasy day, I will be so fucking mad that I started Dak. I'm hoping he has like 6 fantasy points or 12. Even if he has like 13 fantasy points or 15 fantasy points and like he was barely a better start than Dak, I can live with that because Dak not getting injured, he would have beaten that.
Like what would be the line for you? Like 17. It's like,
If
okay,
he
he's
had
got
17
5 more.
fantasy points, I'd be able to live with that, unless it means the difference between me beating Zach or
Okay.
not.
Fair enough.
Like if I lose by 4 to Zach and Mahomes had 17 fantasy points, I'll be pissed for sure.
That's probably worst case. Chisel. Sorry, I gotta point that, but he's coming.
I don't think he'll be coming back next week. The way they're talking about him doesn't make me bullish that he's coming back this week.
Shut up. Have faith.
Yeah.
I need him. It's against Mason.
Says, yeah, you need to beat Mason. I traded Neighbors, Mooney, and Chase Brown for Bijan. Thoughts?
I don't like
That's
that.
a rich price to pay, man. I think I like the Neighbors, Mooney, and
Would
Chase
you give
Brown
up Neighbors and Mooney for Bijan? I wouldn't.
I think if it was a shallow league format and you needed running backs, I could get away with it.
But, 1 flex.
Mooney's like legit been a fucking stud, man. And Chase Brown's like a top 15 running back in my rest of the season.
I'm sorry, I gotta say this right now. If you don't have Mooney as a top 24 wide receiver rest of the season, at least it's take lock. It's take lock.
Are you talking to me or are you talking
in general? If somebody doesn't have Mooney as a top 24 wide receiver rest of the season, it's take lock.
Let me make sure I'm not take locked.
It's take lock. Like straight up, it's take lock.
Well, it looks like it's take lock for me.
Yeah, let's make the adjustments. For the
We're gonna put him over Zay Flowers, dude. Like
put him over DJ Moore right now.
No, there's no
way. Yes.
No.
Why not? Why? Because he traded for DJ Moore.
No, I still think DJ Moore's a stud, man.
Hey,
what the hell, dude? My rest of season rankings didn't save.
What?
They did the thing again.
Oh no. I mean, that happened to me last week. I just had to.
Well, here, maybe if I just go to, maybe it's just on the create rankings page that it's doing this. If I go to the actual put my rankings in.
Yeah. Let's get Mooney adjusted up because, dude, he's been way too good this year. Way too good.
What the hell?
And London's going to miss time.
It's really irritating.
Yeah, Matt, ask any question you'd like. We're probably not going to go for too much longer because the game's about to be on like 6 minutes, but we'll probably just run through some of these comments. And
Zach has a question tonight here.
Serious upside is Hunt.
Yeah,
it's a serious committee
Hunt, for sure. He has the upside to punch 2 touchdowns in.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what it is. Do I think he's going to be efficient at all? Absolutely not. But you would need 2 injuries for Bucky Irving to have like serious upside in this match. Because even if like Tucker got hurt, Rachaad White's going to get all the receiving work. If Rachaad White got hurt, then Tucker would work more into the ground. So it's like, I think Bucky's like a fine RB3, low end RB2 projection. But like, if you told me like he needed to smash, I just have a hard time seeing it with your current backfield configuration.
Yeah, I still think he has a chance to like crush. To be honest, like he's been so good that he could just crush just because he's so good.
That's fair.
Like he's a better running back objectively than Kareem Hunt.
Oh,
like
it's not even close, dude. Like Kareem Hunt actually blows. I mean, that was the thesis of why I like Carson Steele. I thought all these running backs suck.
Dude, people yapping to me on Twitter that like Pacheco is going to be in a timeshare when he comes back. I'm like, get out of here, dude. Like Pacheco is going to be such a fucking workhorse once he's capable of being one.
Dude, like, do people not realize just like how objectively bad Kareem Hunt's been since his first game?
Yeah, he
gets volume,
fantasy whore basically right now.
For what it's
worth, by the way, one thing that like I don't think my best ball portfolio has taken too big of hits as far as like some of the players that have gone down. Like I wasn't super in on Stephon Diggs, I wasn't super in on Rashee Rice, I wasn't super in on some of these guys. The one that has hurt me has been Isaiah Pacheco because I think Isaiah Pacheco would be crushing right now.
He'd be like a top 5, top 6 running back at like worst projection right now.
Yeah, like I think we'd be talking about him as like Kyron Williams right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good comp, especially with the complexion of how this offense is looking.
Yeah, I'm sad about Pacheco going down, man, because he was really good in the first 2 games and he was just getting going too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some playoff best ball Isaiah Pacheco sun running in the playoffs.
Wait, what? Okay. Did you hear this? Davis tweeted this stat out. There are 4 players that matter in best ball this year. Darno, Mooney, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara. The advance rate of teams not featuring any of those players is 9.1%. And yet I have not a lot of shares out of any of those guys outside of Saquon, and I'm advancing 18% of my teams.
Yeah. So who did you say? Henry,
Mooney,
and who was
Henry, Mooney, Saquon, and Alvin Kamara. teams that don't have any of these players, their current advance rate is 9.1%. And I don't have many of it across the board, but I have an 18% advance rate. So
I have a absolute shit ton of Saquon Barkley. That's the one guy in that group that I have a massive amount of bags of.
Barkley's the one that I have a decent bit. Now, I don't think I have anywhere close to you, but I do have like a good amount. Like I think
there's no shot you have anywhere close to me. He is my third highest drafted player.
Yeah, so I'm not anywhere close
for a second round pick. That's pretty insane. To have 19% of a second round pick, pretty insane.
I have 10.7%. The reason why I'm still taking a float is because I already talked about my top 6 right now, all above 19.6%. I talked about it on an earlier live stream. And I mean, another guy that's been really saving me has been 18.8% Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. 14% Darnell Mooney feels really good. And I surprisingly was above market on Kamara, a 9% Kamara.
Really?
Yeah.
Which Kamara did I
he
have?
fell to me in a lot of drafts. I remember when I was
8%.
doing when I was in like the 7th round or whatever, and I'm like, am I going to take Keon Coleman or Alvin Kamara? It's like, I'm going to take Kamara.
Yeah, I don't have a single Derrick Henry share, by the way.
Yeah, that's bad. I got 4, thankfully. I got 4 Henry shares.
I have 8% Kamara. So, I mean, I could have been worse there too. 8, just under average. So, we take it.
What's good, boys? Go Chiefs? No, Lennox.
Yes, sir. Lennox, let's go.
Not go Chiefs.
Shout out Lennox.
I will be quite happy if the Bucs can win this game, though, because if you can win this game and then you lose next week against San Francisco, or you split these next 2 games without Evans, and you're 5-5 after the bye, that's doable. You can still win your division coming in 5-5 after the bye, and Mike Evans getting back on the field.
Well, are you sleeping on when the Cowboys are 3-9 and get Dak back? Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Definitely not sleeping on that.
God, dude. Did you see the report? Like he apparently like now it's expected he's going to be on IR, and it sounds significant is what like the wording was from Raps.
The only positive thing that I can take away from this whole situation is that I don't have to decide between my starting quarterback every week going forward now.
And if I had the decision on mine in real life, just give me Trey Lance so I can have some fun.
I can assure
don't care
you
how
you're
bad
not
it
gonna have
is.
any fun watching
Dude,
Trey Lance.
I don't care how bad it is. At least I'll have a quarterback that can play out a structure. If I have to watch Cooper Rush operate a terrible football team, I'm going to lose brain cells.
Yeah. I mean, for CD bags, though, wouldn't you prefer to have Rush back there?
Yeah, but like for my own fucking sanity, at least Lance gonna look cool doing it.
Apologies, Thomas. I just saw this come in.
Yeah, same.
But Bucky Irving versus Jamison Williams. Maybe this is the question he asked us in the chat here.
Yeah, I mean, in Dynasty, I would still take JMO.
Yeah, he said 12-man, 1 quarterback PPR Dynasty. I have Bucky. I was offered JMO in a second. Is that solid? Yeah, JMO in the second for Bucky for sure is. Like, let me ask you this. Would you take a 2026 second for Bucky right now, or are you holding Bucky there? I'm probably holding Bucky, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like,
if it's mid to late projected 26 second, I'd rather have Bucky Irving.
That's where I'm at as well. Like, because I think if you had to redraft, I mean, we actually did this exercise. We redrafted what the first 2 rounds of 2024 would look like, and what Bucky ended in the mid portion of the second. And funny enough, if like we did that exercise again, like Tracy would be a riser. I think Bucky would probably pop up a couple spots. Like early to mid seconds were about they would get redrafted. So I think the second, like if I got offered a 26, 2 and 3, I 100% would take it. And if it was like a mid projected 2, that's when the conversation is about, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Matt was the one who asked if he could ask a dynasty or a redraft or no dynasty question. Hold on. Yeah, dynasty question.
Also,
so,
it looks like the game's like on, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna just answer this real quick and then we can hop off of here. So 12-team full PPR start 11. Would you trade my neighbors and Drake May for plus a third for Burrow, Odunze, and 2 mid to late projected 2025 first? So a lot to unpack here. I'm assuming, Danny, you think that May versus Burrow is a wash, and I'd imagine you probably prefer May, but I would actually prefer Burrow.
I prefer May.
Neighbors. So
we're gonna have to have a conversation, by the way, real quick.
What's
sorry for cutting you up. In what world should we be taking Caleb Williams over Drake May in Dynasty right now? I think May's a mid first.
I would still take Caleb simply because he has some long-term projected weapons and Drake May doesn't. That would be the only difference.
But doesn't that make their rookie seasons look even more
Give me 2 to 3 more weeks and I'll be there with you. I just need to see a little bit more of Caleb before I say that. Because it was just 2 weeks ago that we were right back in on Caleb Williams after the Jags game.
Yeah.
Like I think he's just going to be just like Marvin. He's going to look like a rookie at times, and he's going to have some up and down games.
I don't disagree, but like it's almost like Drake May to Caleb Williams now is like the BTJ to Marv, where it's like Drake already looks like that guy, man.
That's fair, but I also don't think when you're talking about rookies that you should automatically just skyrocket the guy who's doing it and tank the guy who's not doing it. I think there's some nuance and some context, particularly with quarterbacks too, because with the Bears, they're putting a shit ton on his plate. He's running the entire offense. He has a bad offensive coordinator right now, but he's still flashing the ability that we saw from him. I guess if you wanted to make the argument that because Drake May's running more, then you could just use that as a tiebreaker or whatever. That's definitely fair. I think you could definitely say Drake May over Caleb Williams. But anyways, just to answer this question, I think I like the May and Neighbors side of that just because I don't know, man. This is a tough call. Odunze in 2 first though. I think actually no, I'm changing my answer here. Burrow, Odunze in 2 mid to late first over Neighbors and May in the 3rd.
Well, I mean, this deal is like, again, like I said, I would rather May like pretty comfortably over.
Yeah,
Burrow
but is he a first difference from Burrow?
Probably not. I think that you probably process wise you go with the right side, but like, dude,
yeah. Odunze for Neighbors is like you could get me on it's probably a first of difference because Neighbors is that good, but you can't get me on 2 firsts of a difference.
1 and a 2 for sure. But this is a close deal. Honestly, fuck. If you're competing, you take the right side. But then again, Neighbors versus this is such a fucking even deal.
I don't think it's even. I think this is Odunze and Burrow right now.
I'm almost leaning the left side. If you're really struggling, you go with the process and you take the ones. But
yeah,
like, Matt, I'm with you, man. Like Neighbors look so good, and
it's so hard to sell Neighbors in May.
Because I changed back my.
You're getting a stud back though, dude. Burrow's
I changed back my answer, dude. I think Neighbors and May are legitimately mid first round startup picks for me in my rankings moving forward.
Yeah, and so is Burrow, for what it's worth.
But like Odunze is probably what, a 4th?
He's an early to mid 3rd.
Yeah, I mean
2 1s, like
mid to late, probably competing teams.
It's close, man. It's close. But anyways, the game is on. I gotta go. Appreciate you guys for joining us again. If you have other stuff, waiver stuff will be covered tomorrow. Trade targets going forward. You guys know the drill. Peace out. Go Bucs. We'll talk to you soon.